$99 in the flare. Great Christmas present. It's like I'm hearing it like a howl or something.
It's the lighthouse.
So I have to tell you about an interesting thing that happened to me a couple of months ago. And that was that I was invited to Washington, DC to take part in a sort of all-day science event with a number of local luminaries speaking on stage.
Oh.
And on the list of performers was none other than Mr. Buzz Aldrin. Wow. And my wife Kathleen, who was never usually starstruck, was just agog that I was going to be on the same stage as like the first man on the moon that's still alive. And she said, look, you've got to get me a souvenir. She said, I don't need moon dust, all right? I just need like his mark on the back of a napkin or something like that. So I went to this event a little bit apprehensive because I'd read somewhere that Buzz Aldrin once slugged a guy that accused him of faking the whole moon landing. So I walked into the green room there and I was sort of expecting somebody built like a quarterback, right? The right stuff and everything. And I spotted him across this crowded room and he was actually small but perfectly formed. And it made sense because, you know, if you're going to put three guys in a tiny little lunar module, you want them to fit in and to use as little oxygen as possible. So it made perfect sense. So I was just contemplating this when suddenly he turns and looks at me, makes a beeline for me across this crowded room. And I was delighted, you know. And I said, yeah, it's really nice to meet you, Mr. Aldrin. And I was just about to tell him, you know, ask him if he wouldn't mind just making his mark. And he said, you're the guy that does that song, right? And I said, what song is that? He said, you know, the science song. I said, you're going to play it tonight? And I said, well, Mr. Aldrin, I will play it tonight if you will come out and do the Magnus Pike part for me. He said, well, we'd have to practice, you know, and this is a museum, right, not a music venue, so there's nowhere for us to practice. So he actually suggested going down to the parking lot and getting in his car. And as it turned out, there wasn't time to do that before the performance, but I just love the idea of settling into Buzz's, you know, Corvette or whatever it is, tilting the seats back, you know, and looking over at him next to me as we sort of scan the horizon. He came out and performed it for me that night, and it was a little bit sad because, you know, I'd sort of been hoping to dedicate it to the late great Dr. Magnus Pike, who was always a bit of a ham and said things like,
yes, but as a known scientist, it was a bit surprising that the girl blinded me with science.
Woo!
But, you know, I'm always up for refreshing and finding new ways to breathe new life into this old turkey. So I thought an appropriate way to do it tonight would be to invite Mr. Reggie Watts back on stage. Yeah, Reggie. All right, here we go. Tell us what you remember about this song.
Well, some vocoder. I remember silence. That. A lot of trailing melodies, kind of Middle Eastern, but not fully there, and it being